Welcome to The Route to Revenue, two entrepreneurs sharing the path to curbside cash flow. I'm Ben.
And I'm Mike. We're both founders of two successful recurring revenue businesses in the home services industry. And we've built our companies from startup to profitable and scalable operations.
This is the show for entrepreneurs serious about building sustainable home service businesses. Whether you're starting out, scaling up, or ready to move beyond trading time for money, we share proven strategies for creating predictable monthly revenue streams.
And while our expertise comes from the bin cleaning industry, the systems and principles we discuss work for any recurring revenue home service. Think lawn care, pest control, pool maintenance, and beyond.
Each episode, we break down real-world strategies for customer acquisition, retention, operational efficiency, and building systems that generate consistent income while you step back from daily operations.
Are you ready to transform your home service businesses from a demanding job into a profitable asset? This is The Route to Revenue.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of The Route to Revenue. I'm Ben Magee with Green Can Cleaner. I'm here with Mike Walker from Spiffy Bin. Welcome, everyone.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I think we've got a really good episode today. The math behind $1 million route. I mean, $1 million sounds great, doesn't it, Ben?
It does. It sounds amazing. And I'll tell you, it also sounds like it's probably unachievable.
It does.
I mean, I know when I first started, $1 million in annual revenue was not. I mean, I was like, maybe, but wow, that'd be a lot of cans.
I wanted to get to 10 stops a day. That was my goal. I don't know.
Yeah,
Initially when I first started, it was, hey, hon, my wife would go, hey, hon, how many cans do you have to do today? And I remember my first day was 4 cans, 2 stops, and that was it. And, then as time grew on, it was like, okay, then it was less how many cans, it was how many stops.
Yep.
And then that was good. And then it turned into, are you going to be home before dinner? And, I was like, I don't know. We'll see. And then finally it turned into, are you going to run 2 trucks today or 3? Or, I guess I'm stuck at 3 right now, but you get the gist. Over time, it just grows and grows and grows. And it's fun to watch. But I think what everybody'd like to do is get to $1 million in revenue. And then I guess later on, we could talk about $1 million in profit. That would be a whole nother story, but it's all just numbers, right?
Well, and I feel like that. I mean, I know for me, once I got into business and I got through that part that you were just talking about, where it was, you know what, I just give me 10 stops a day. Just let me actually be able to go to work on a consistent basis and have something to do. And once I got beyond that, I think the first real goal for me was the 100,000 mark. And it was, okay, once I get there, then I'm going to be all set. And then when I hit that, it was 250.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I hit that, it was 500.
And you've added people in the middle of all this, and you've added trucks.
We've added trucks. We've added people. We've added, yep. And then, it was $1 million. How are we going to get to $1 million? And that is actually, for me, I think it's the real goal. Once you get to $1 million, I don't know, nothing really happens. Nothing really changes. The next goal's there. But I mean, it certainly feels good to hit all of those benchmarks.
Absolutely.
So the question, Mike, is how do we get there? Because it does seem overwhelming. So can we break that down?
I think we should.
Okay.
We should.
Let's do it.
I guess the first number would be $1 million.
If we start with $1 million and that's the annual revenue that we're looking for, then we can work backward from there, correct?
I think so.
Okay. So my question, do we want to do this as a monthly or a weekly? I know in all of my business goals, I've done it as a weekly number. Just the way that my mind thinks, it works out better for me to do it weekly, but I think you do it monthly, don't you?
Yeah, for me, it's almost it almost gets in my head too busy when it's, I got 52 of those numbers. I kind of like to process 12. I don't know,
There
that's
you
for me, but I'm game with whatever way
Well,
works for you.
why don't we start with a monthly number and then we'll do a weekly number as well.
Alright.
So, there's a few things that we have to have here. Obviously, the goal, which is the $1,000,000, okay? And then if we divide that by 12, we get what, Mike?
$83,333 and probably some change.
33 cents, I'll bet.
33 cents, a lot of threes.
A lot of threes. So, then we need to take an average per stop, okay? And
This is where we differ, but I like your number better.
this is where we differ. And this is where the thing that you and I keep talking about comes into play, pricing.
Yes.
The the average per stop actually matters, and this is where we see the difference between a $38 average or a $45 average makes a big difference. It's not just 7 bucks now. It's gonna work into some decent money. So, I in our particular industry, and actually, I mean, I think, you can take if you're in a different industry, you can take a different number, but I think for us, a good target at this point is like $43 a stop, okay? So, if we take that $83,333 and we divide it by our average per stop, what do we get, Mike?
We get we did ours earlier in weekly numbers. So, that divided by hold on, everybody. You're seeing hard math here. We get it's the same number, isn't it? 1,937 stops? Did I screw that up?
No, you're right. It's
Ah,
actually
1,938, 1,938.
1,938. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, that's what we get.
So that's how many stops we have to do in that month to make the 83,000. Now, if we take an average of 23 days, 23 working days,
Right, right.
okay, then how many stops do we have to average per day?
We'd have to average right around 84.26 stops a day.
So 85
A
stops a day.
working a working day.
So 85 stops every working day. If we average that, we break the $1,000,000.
Seems so doable.
If we have our pricing set so that we can be at $43 average per stop. So there's a lot of averages there, and one average being off is gonna send you, but,
Do that.
if your average per stop is $45, then you need less stops.
And in this scenario, I know you and I have this thought that we don't really care about our customer count as a whole. We wanna know what our recurring customer count is. I think that's how we tend to do our business. How many recurring customers do you have? I could care less what your in my opinion, I can care less what my book of business looks like because they're not actually giving me money every month or every other month or every 3 months. Well, in this scenario, we very much wanna count our one-timers because we're just looking for total revenue overall.
It's
And and if we know that we're gonna get, I don't know, 150, signups roughly a month for the 3 or 4 months, the hardcore months, I mean, we absolutely throw that in there. And that helps skew our number, helps elevate our numbers during those months. We're also gonna have a lot of months in December when we're probably gonna have 0 one-time cleans or,
right,
relatively 0.
right. And so, I mean, obviously, we're talking about averages here, but in a perfect world, if there was no weather, no fluctuation based on any of those events, it's not, "Oh, it's gonna slow down for winter." If it's just steady and we had a book of recurring business that hit those numbers, we have $1,000,000 a year in revenue.
Yeah,
So that's where, again, pricing. It's really the
right,
magic.
right.
And then when we talk about profit, then we need to talk about route density and how do we save some money here and there and that sort of thing. So I do want to walk through the weekly because it's pretty simple. It's $1,000,000 divided by 52 gives us I think it's 19,231, is that correct?
19,231. Where are you getting that from?
A million divided by 52? Let me use my calculator here.
Better if you yeah, 19,230?
19,230.
231, yes.
231 because it's 0.76.
Here's a little tip sometimes, Ben. You give me a little you gave me a curveball here when you asked the question and expect the number right away.
Well,
We need to tee
sorry,
these
Mike.
up a little bit better.
I know math is hard, and I
They just
forget.
did the home run derby, and they
I
didn't bring in somebody throwing 90 to the guys trying to hit a home run. They brought in some guy throwing 60. So I just need you to start throwing 60 to make it a little bit easier to hit this one over the fence. But
You
yes,
got
19,231.
okay, so
So
when
20
we
grand a week, basically,
so
19,000 a
basically
week.
20 grand a week, and that I mean, that 19 number is a big deal.
Boy, that does seem like a tough number. I got to be honest.
I Well, let's break that down, so let's divide that by our stops. Divided by 43, use the same number. That's 447.22 in a week.
It sounds like there's typically 5 days in a week.
If we divide that by 5, we're at 89 point.
So what's the difference there?
That's a good
Just an
question.
extra day here, an extra day there, I guess, because we're doing 23.
Because we did the 23 and this is a
There might
weekly.
only be 22 one in the month of February. We're not gonna have we're gonna
Well,
lose a couple extra days there.
the difference is that it's 4.3 weeks per month.
Yeah. Well, in that month, we only have 4 though,
Daily numbers should
technically.
work out to be the same, so I guess maybe the difference is that we're showing people that we both suck at math.
Yeah, but
And
it's still, it's still
it's in the
regardless
ball.
if it's 84 or 89, my guys today, if I could have every day like today, we had 127 stops today. I don't know what my average is, but we had 127 stops today. And if we could do that every day, it sounds like I would be crushing the $1 million number. Some days we don't have that many though.
Well, and again, I mean, the idea is to build this recurring revenue so that we carry that through the winter.
Yes.
With the way that our businesses are set up and like you talked about with the on-demand cleanings, I know you call them one times, we call them on-demands. With our on-demand cleanings, if when we hit these numbers with recurring, then those on-demand cleanings are just bonus,
Yes.
just
Yes.
over and above that. So,
Yeah. That'd be
yeah,
fantastic. I
good
like
stuff,
it.
good stuff. So,
So what I'm hearing is it's attainable. Again, somebody that might be only doing, I don't know, 2 or 3 or 5,000 a month might look at 19,000 a week and go, "That's not attainable." But it is,
it is.
because one
It
of us has done that. I'm not
it just
quite there yet. Just if we
it
wanna
just
do that, make it easier to decide who's where.
it just takes hard work, perseverance, and paying attention to your numbers. I mean, that's one of the biggest things I think is knowing where you are. And wherever it is, then you can build from there. And go ahead.
There's what's that saying where if you don't know where your destination is, every direction's the right direction?
Right.
Or something
Right.
along that lines. They probably said it much better than I just said it, but that's the gist behind it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if you
If you
don't
don't
know
know
where you're headed, you're headed the right way, but you may not be.
any path will work.
Yeah, there you go. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
So, okay. Well, what can our listeners and Mike, I have to tell you, and we'll talk about this probably another time. I think we have confirmed 5 listeners now.
I I think maybe there's an extra one. I know one of us got called out today, just a few minutes ago, about
I
some episode in the 34th minute that he
I
had
saw
problems
that, and
with one of
I
us on
figured
the
I
call.
thought we might talk about that on another episode.
Yeah, that's fine. But I'll
I
point out we're 20 how many episodes in? 20 something episodes in.
think we're close to
27, 8,
30.
something like that.
Something,
and
yeah.
it took all the way to, like, the 26th episode in the 34th minute for him to disagree with you. I think I disagree with you almost every couple 3 minutes. So, I mean, I feel like you're doing alright with that listener.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I love the feedback.
Yeah.
So I'm actually excited.
I gotta go back and listen to the 34th minute because I don't remember
I
exactly what you said.
I know I went back and listened to it, and I know exactly what I said, and I actually stand behind what I said.
Alright. Maybe we should call him in. We could phone a friend or
Maybe
something.
we should maybe we should,
We can do that. We'll
should we do
call him.
that?
Can we call him on this call? And not
Call
this
him.
call,
Yeah,
but another
call him.
call?
No, call him right now. See if he answers.
Can Let's see. Hold on one second. All right, folks. We're at 15 minutes. All right, we're gonna try to end this
We got
in
time.
just a few
Yeah,
minutes. This could
we
be
got time.
fun. Hold on one second, folks. Let me find him. Gentry. Sorry, I'm giving up who it was.
Yeah. So that everybody knows, I'll bring you up to speed. It was Chris Gentry. He called me out in a Facebook group, kind of a private group that Mike and I are both in. And he called me out. It was the episode about firing customers.
Go ahead. Keep going. He's not gonna answer me.
I thought he always took your call.
I thought so too. We're about to call him out in the 16th minute of the 27th show for not answering his phone.
Yeah.
He's probably out cleaning a can. Hopefully, it's his 85th can of the day.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully, it was his 85th
Wait,
can of the
let me
day.
see if you take my call, Mike. Let's try this. Do you ever do this?
What's that?
Sitting next to one of your friends, have one of you call one of your other friends, and he doesn't take your call, so the friend next to you.
But yeah, you call now. Let's see what
So I'm gonna
happens.
try it now.
Sorry for you listeners. So anyways, yeah, Ben got called out about this firing customers and or charging more, and Chris more or less said, let's see what
What
happens.
he what he
And
said.
Chris
Good.
more or less said that, well, what did he say exactly? Where's the line? He said, do you keep charging that same amount forever? And he said, of course not. Fuel, labor, insurance, all that increases. But at one point, you have two choices: raise the price to reflect the true cost of providing the service, or politely let the customer go. Route density is not about getting more customers. It's about building a business that consistently
Chris,
profitable.
I don't know if it's good or
7
bad.
listeners.
We saw your, post on Facebook, and Mike and I happen to be recording the route to revenue right now, and we thought that we'd call you and address your disagreement right on the show, but you haven't answered either one of us, so call us back. So anyway, I will go into my thoughts on that. What I said was that if you set a service area, you have committed to servicing that customer and you should service them. And I stand by that. If you've set your service area, and I think, I mean, I might have been a little strong. I was like, if you're going to do this, if you're going to cut people because they're hard to service, you might as well sell your business. I might back
That
off.
sounds a little hardcore.
I
Yeah, I'd
I
say.
might back off of that a little bit, but
Well, kid, just because you said it like 2.5, 5 years ago, do you only have to own that forever, or can you make adjustments? I
well,
mean,
I mean,
think of the companies that
you're
change their logos every 6 years. I mean, they make adjustments or
well, I
whatever.
understand that, but my point is you've set a service area. You've said, "I'm gonna come and service you." If you don't do everything in your power to build that area to make it profitable, that's your job as the business owner, the entrepreneur. It's your responsibility to make that profitable. And, when I started my business, there were stops that I would drive to that were absolutely not profitable, but it was an investment. And I made that
But
investment and
I
I
guess yeah,
I
sorry.
marketed to that area and that made it to where that it became a profitable endeavor. And so that's my point. I don't think that, and I still don't think that if
But
you
for
said,
how long do you do that? This is what Chris was saying. He feels like after a year or whatever the arbitrary timeline is, and it hasn't worked out, you haven't grown and you haven't done this, now you either gotta charge enough to make it profitable, or potentially jettison that area.
Yeah, I I understand and again, maybe I understand Chris's point, and he makes a good solid point. I also think that there's a point where, I mean, yes, there is a point where you can say, "Hey, you know what? It just doesn't work for us to service you anymore." But I see too often, if I see a guy that's been in business a year and he's talking about firing a client because they're too far to drive to, he has not given, in my opinion, he has not given that enough of a chance. I have actually done, I mean, I've got a couple that I serviced for nearly 5 years before I finally got their neighborhood to start getting on board.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is
We
what it
get
is.
and I think we'll cut it off after this last one here perhaps, but Clayton McLaren, he's out of, Chicago area, I believe. We met him, you and I met him at John Conway's, I think, at least I know I met him at John Conway's retreat, I don't know, 6 years ago, 5 years ago, whenever it was, his convention. Do you remember
Okay.
him or no?
I don't think I met him.
No? Okay, he was there.
Okay.
I know I met him there, but he writes, "Couldn't agree more, Chris Gentry. We have had to cut some customers over the years for this exact reasons. Areas we thought would do well, but just didn't develop. Did all the basic marketing in the areas, just not much of a response. That's when we politely explained to the customers why we can no longer offer services in their area and adjust the map on MSA, my service area. Love that software, buddy. If there is another provider in the area, we'll refer the customer to them. Don't go chasing waterfalls." I think there's a song there. "Stick to dem cans and curbs you're used to." And he's got some kinda, like, sweaty face and a smiley face for the
Okay.
emojis. I don't know what those all mean,
I don't know.
but I think I can get behind both thoughts, and it sounds like he gave it a try. He ran it. He goes, we did the marketing stuff and we just didn't get the response. And maybe, maybe it is time to cut ties for now. Doesn't mean maybe forever, but at some point, if you're driving 20 minutes one way to get to that guy and you don't have, a cluster of 5 or so people over there, it may not be worth your time.
It may
But
not.
to your point, you got to give it the effort too. Good old college try.
Yeah, and I think that that was, I mean, that was the point that I was trying to make is, on that episode, we were talking about, in that particular instance, we were talking about people that were basically inventing reasons to drop clients, and
Yes, yes, yes.
there just aren't
Remember.
enough. We we need to make sure that we're servicing the clients we have.
You can't get to $19,230.76 a week if you keep firing customers.
Exactly. Okay. Well,
Excellent.
I think one takeaway for our listeners, if you're listening to this, do the math on your next goal. We showed you how to break it down, and put that number in your mind and concentrate on it and figure out how to get there. Whatever that average stops you need per week or per month, get there.
And one of my favorite sayings is, "It's better to aim high and miss than aim low and hit." So in
Absolutely.
this scenario, if you don't if a million's crazy, great, and you think 200,000's attainable, well, you don't put 200,000 in this
No.
equation. You put 400 or put 450 or 500. You double whatever your goal is, whatever your uncomfortable goal is, double it, because all it's
Yep.
gonna do is help making you drive harder and faster and maybe more precise. So,
Yep.
work
Okay.
hard. Let's go get them.
Thanks, everyone.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, Ben, that's a wrap on another episode of The Route to Revenue. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd love it if you would hit like, subscribe, and leave us old guys a comment about what we did well. And if we did anything wrong, can it and keep it to yourself.
If today's strategy sparked some ideas for your business, don't keep them to yourself. Share this episode with a fellow entrepreneur who could benefit from these insights.
Remember, building a recurring revenue business, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. Take one actionable step from today's discussion and implement it in your business this week.
Want to connect with us between episodes? Find us on Facebook or at our website. We'd love to hear how you're applying these concepts in your own home service business.
And until next time, keep building those recurring revenue streams and stay on the route to revenue.
The route to revenue.
Nice, Ben.